April 30th, 2017. It's about 8:30 at night. I'm sitting here. I did my live chat on Facebook, and I got a few people on today. It got a little better than it has been. It's been a little slow. Everyone's been pretty busy. But so in my journey so far, I've looked into, like I said, my service dog I want to get is a Briard. Beautiful dog. I've had a lot to think about since yesterday when I talked to two of the breeders, and I am now really set on getting this that breed for my services that I need. I have looked into some training facilities nearby, and I'm going to go visit them tomorrow. And I think, if not this Wednesday, but definitely working on that. I'm also going to do a couple visits with the dogs, like some of the dogs themselves. But I think that I'm going to try to concentrate more on waiting until we've moved. We're trying to buy a house, and so once we move, then we can do that. That way I can, be set and know where I'm going to be. And as far as the training facilities and everything, I am still going to research them. I just don't think I'm going to choose anything until I've actually bought my house and moved. So that's where I'm leaving that right now. But I am pretty set on wanting the Briard. But yeah, so I haven't talked a lot about my story since I just started this. So I thought I would speak a little bit about that. Somewhere between the age of 4 and about almost 8, I was molested by my brother. And I held that in for years. And I did tell my husband about it, and I warned my kids about it, and it just kind of was there. And I talked about it as a matter of fact, like it just happened, but I never really thought about it, focused on it, really addressed it. A few years back, I was working, and, well, before I get to that, so even after that, like, I had a break-in to my house when my kids were very little, and the guy that broke in had a shirt in his hand, and went to attack me, and that was probably one of the hardest images to get out of my mind. Was that man's face, or guy's face, or whatever. I wouldn't call him a man. To get that out of my head, of seeing it every night, and I couldn't sleep in my own house for about 6 months. I feared it. I was mortified. But along with that, I also had a few incidents. I'm from Southern California, and there was two incidents at a Walmart that happened to me. One, when my kids were just a little bit older. The first incident, I believe the kids were like 2 and 4, I think, or yeah, about 2 and 4 years old. So when my kids were, I would say 4 and 8. I think it was around then. Yeah, it was when I first met my husband. My kids and I were at Walmart, and I was looking at a camera for my boyfriend at the time, which is now my husband, as a Christmas gift. And so I never let my kids just wander around or just walk off. They always had to hold the cart or hold my belt loop of my pants. Well, because I was going to walk away from my cart and go to the cameras and there was a lot of people around, I told them to hold on to my loops. And my daughter screamed and I felt her pull. And she just like, Mom, like, and I turned around and there was a guy who had grabbed, she had a puffer jacket on. He had grabbed the hood part of it and tried to snatch her, but she was holding on. So that was pretty scary. And, we had to make a police report. And the guy had been staring at other kids in the store, and so it was kind of spooky. It was, like I said, one of those things that were happening to me that were just kind of like matter of fact happened, and I dealt with it. They were terrifying at the time, and then I would get over it. And then when my kids were in school one day, and this is after we were married, my husband and I were at a different Walmart, and that was I'd say about 15 years ago. He and I had to go to the bathrooms in the back. And so the bathroom doors were like, how do I explain it? Like one door was here and the other door was like an L, like next to it. So the men's would open this way and then the women's would open that way. So he went in his door, I went in my door. And when I walked in, I saw a man walk in with me. And I was just like frozen. Like I didn't know how to react or what to do or what was really going on. And I kept thinking, am I imagining this? Is this really happening right now? Like I kept questioning myself, like, did this really just happen? Am I just thinking that a man walked in with me, or did a man just walk in the women's bathroom? And so I kind of played with that scenario while I was locked in my stall. And, just for a couple seconds, and he tried to like open my stall and he kept doing the door. And I was like, I'm in here. I said it just really loud and really, just kind of like letting him know that I'm like not just going to be quiet about it. I don't know. I just said it. So I finished going to the bathroom and he had walked into the next stall next to me. And I was like I had to plan my escape basically. I was like, okay, I'm going to walk out and, I'm going to run and I'm going to tell my husband and, the whole scenario. And I heard the men's bathroom like squeak open and I saw my opportunity and I just ran out the door and I was like, told him there's a man in there. He tried to get in my stall and I had to scream. And he goes, I thought I heard you scream something. He's like, and I just kind of like, he goes, but I just figured it was nothing because you didn't like scream for help. And I said, yeah, I know. And so I just kind of was like, kept telling him. And he's like, are you sure it wasn't a woman that looked like a man? Are you sure are you sure? And I was like, I'm pretty sure. I know what a man looks like, kind of thing. And so we went back and forth with that scenario, and he said, well, let's wait and see. I'm sure it's not a guy. I think you just probably thought so. You do hate Walmart because of, what's happened in the past. It's probably nothing. So he took me at my word and waited a minute, and the man came out. Well, my husband, and him were like face to face, and my husband went like looking for him, and he took off running. So he got security involved, and they didn't do very much. They chased him around, and I stayed in electronics, and the guy showed up again, and he's like trying to grab my hand or something. I don't remember. I got really scared, and I went behind the register, and I was like, "Please call the police! Call the police!" And they, instead of calling the police, they called their security, and they're like, "Oh, he's over here," And so my husband and the security guard showed up, and that just kind of went like the guy took off running again, and so we left, and I was like, "What a creep!" Like, didn't really process it. I just kind of lived it, and it was like, oh my gosh, that was freaky. What a weirdo. What a, like that whole thing. But back also on the break-in that I had where the man tried to attack me in my house, he actually came back 3 other times later, tried to get in when I was home. So it was extremely traumatic and scary and confusing, and I didn't know what this guy wanted. It was kind of it was weird. I mean, I didn't understand why I'm sure he probably wanted to attack me, rape me, I don't know. But anyways, that was years ago, and so come to now a few years ago, I was working at a department store. I'm not going to say the name just in case. I don't know if I'm actually allowed to say it or not. But I was working at a department store, and I was talking to somebody just a customer, and we were just having a quick conversation, and like I felt kind of weird, like something just kind of snapped. And I said to myself, I told the other girl, I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom. And I took off, and I walked by the store manager or assistant store manager, and I said, "Hey, you need to send someone to the bathroom with me. Something's wrong. I don't know what's going on. I don't feel good." And the next thing you know, I wake myself up. I like kind of get up, and I'm literally, somehow I got from right there where I was talking to that manager into the bathroom, the back bathroom, through the stock rooms, everything. Opened a stall door, locked it, and ended up on the floor, hands behind, like, I don't know, just on my knees, and just really freaked out. And I was a little disoriented. And I believe that to be probably my first flashback, because I got really scared, and for some reason I felt like I saw my brother. Like, it was just the weirdest thing. Like, I'd never experienced anything like that. Yeah, so it was weird. It was like the weirdest thing. I had never felt anything like that. I'd never thought anything like that. I'd never been through anything like that. I was just like, whoa, that was weird. Like, I felt like I saw my brother, and, obviously I didn't. He lives in another state. So I ended up going home from work early, and so the next time I went to work, I also worked in a different department than I normally do, and I was sitting there, and I just had this really bad feeling, like this, I don't know, something came over me that just didn't feel right. I started to feel uncomfortable. I couldn't remember things. I was walking in circles trying to put a piece of clothing back that I couldn't remember where it was. And I'm sure I passed it at least 20 times. Like, I couldn't concentrate. Whatever it was in my mind wasn't letting me like perform normal tasks. I was just really like out there. So, I finished out my night, or before I finished out my night, I noticed that our loss prevention department had locked a couple of the doors because it was close to closing time. And there was some people around, and then the LP started to walk around kind of like, incognito, kind of like trying to hide in plain sight, kind of getting ready to bust somebody for doing, obviously trying to steal something. They were going to do like a grab and run or something. And the way that I felt in that situation, I saw the guy running at me. He wasn't quite running at me, I don't think. I think he was running towards the door, but the scenario just brought me to a place that I hadn't felt before. And I do not remember the rest of the night. I do not remember closing the registers. I do not remember clocking out. I do not remember driving home. I just remember having the worst panic attack and anxiety I had ever had in my life. Like I'd never had that before. I was mortified. I was crying. I was scared. I was telling my husband I can't go back to work. I don't know. I'm scared. I'm afraid. I don't know. I felt betrayed. I felt, the betrayal was just my mind playing tricks on me, because I can't explain why I felt so horrible. But that is where, what I call, I snapped, like where PTSD, when it happened, when it all came about. And I had never experienced that. I didn't know what it was. But in talking to doctors and, psychiatrists and everything, I was diagnosed with PTSD due to some of the traumas that I had been through in my life. And I also have dissociative disorder, and that's also part of PTSD, where if I feel like I'm in danger or I'm really scared, I disassociate from myself and I don't remember what I have done or what I'm doing. It's not like DID, which is dissociative identity disorder, which is kind of like what they used to call split personality. It's nothing like that. It's just a way that your mind protects you from your fears and you disassociate. You just don't remember. I don't know if you've ever been driving and you like are driving home and you like realize, wow, how did I get this far? Well, it was like autopilot. Well, this is kind of like that, but it's a protective way that your mind works. And so I will go and I have those a lot where I just don't remember. I can go through an entire day if I am scared, if something gets me, freaks me out. I will go an entire day and not remember what I did that day, who I talked to, anything. I just had really bad one recently, and it just brings me to feel like a child again. But that is basically my story, of how I was diagnosed and that whole thing. But it is the worst feeling you could have. It is the scariest. You feel alone. You feel, I don't know, you feel like you're having a heart attack. You feel like just like every worst thing you could think of, you're feeling at that moment, and you cannot explain it. And I had that, and it is, um, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm crazy. Sometimes I feel like, why am I going through this? Why am I suffering? Why did my brother hurt me this way? And he's walking around like la di da and, denies the whole thing. Obviously, he's not going to admit to it, and makes me feel like I'm a liar, like I'm not telling the truth. I wouldn't make something like that up. That is the worst thing that I would ever imagine is what happened to me. I mean, I was just a kid, and I don't know, you blame yourself. I go back all the time and I start thinking, like, I could have stopped. I could have did this. I could have did that. But the truth is, I couldn't have, because he would threaten me all the time with, I'm going to tell mom what you did. It was always my fault what I did. Because of what he made me do, he would tell me, see what you did? See what you did to me? And it was like, I always felt bad, like I did something wrong. And then that was all the manipulation that an abuser uses. That is all they have, is manipulation. They don't have anything else. They're not in the right. They're bad people. They're not good. They're not there to help you. They're not there for your well-being. They just want to satisfy their own disgusting sexual needs. And that's what happened. And it's horrible. I don't wish it upon anybody. I wish I was as strong as I used to be, and as like tough as I used to be. Like, I don't think that, I don't know, I feel like it's just affected me so much, and I don't understand why it's so, like, why do I have to go through this? It just really sucks. It's disturbing, it's disgusting, it's confusing, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I wish I could curl up in a ball and hide, and just hide in a closet, and I feel like a little kid. Like I'm terrified of something happening, and along with that, the PTSD and the disassociation, I have a form of like agoraphobia. Um, I do go out and do stuff, but most of the time when I do that, it's because I cannot remember it. I don't remember doing it or going places. Like last week, my husband took me to Vegas with a friend of ours, and we hung out at the pool. We just kind of relaxed. We didn't do anything. We didn't go to any shows. We didn't go around a lot of people. It was just very much for a relaxing time. We had a really nice penthouse, big, roomy, we weren't in each other's faces. We were, not my husband and I, but like my friend was, she had plenty of room for her and her baby. And we had a very, very nice place, with a lot of room and, space for our own, just comfort, and apparently we were going to go to CVS Pharmacy and get some diapers and formula for the baby, because she ran out on the trip. Because we only planned to be there for a day or two, and we ended up staying 4 days. So I guess we went, and we walked the streets, and we walked over to it. It wasn't very far. And we came back. I don't remember well, I don't know, because I don't know, but they told me we got an Uber. So I don't know if we got the Uber on the way there or on the way back. I think it was on the way back. But anyways, so apparently we had done everything we were going to do, and we were walking towards the food court. And I just came to, I jumped out of my disassociation or whatever. And I said, "Why are we going this way? We have to go to CVS." It's serious as day. That was what we were doing. And I'm like, "Why are we?" They're like, "We're going to go eat." I'm like, "But I thought we had to go get stuff for the baby. She didn't have any food or anything." And she's like, "We already went." And my husband and her turned and looked at me bizarre. I thought that they were joking with me. I thought they were messing with me. They looked at me so confused. I was mortified. I was embarrassed. I was confused. I just started crying. And I grabbed onto my husband's arm, and I just felt like I was a baby. Again, that feeling of just so helpless, so confused. And I go, "Are you guys playing with me? Don't joke with me." It couldn't, don't play with me. It was just so frustrating. Are you kidding? Don't joke around like that, because that's not something that's funny. And they're like, "We're not joking, we went." And she's like, "We got all this stuff." And so she showed me the bags, and I was like, "Are you serious? Don't play around." And they're like, I had to look at least 3 or 4 times before I kind of realized, okay, I guess we did go. So I kind of remember some of the walk and some of the stuff, but not very much. And that kind of stuff is what disassociation does. And so it really upset me when this happened, because of the fact that someone was there to tell me I did something that I don't remember doing. Because usually, sorry, the camera got really dark. Usually I am home alone, and so I don't remember not remembering. But this case, they both looked at me funny, and I just felt so stupid and so ridiculous. And it made me realize that, I still do have disassociation, because at times I think, well, maybe I just, it slipped my mind, or I fell asleep or something, and I just don't remember, But it was just put me back in my place, and it made me realize, I really need to try to remember. Well, I couldn't remember that day. For the life of me, I couldn't remember the entire day, up until we went to that food court. And so I really couldn't eat much. I was feeling kind of down about it, because it really bothered me. And they just kept saying, "It's okay, don't worry about it. Nothing bad happened. It was all good." So I don't know what it was, but something triggered it. I don't know if it was a sound, a smell, something. I don't know. But that is the scariest, worst thing that you can imagine, is having this disease, this mental illness, whatever it is, that I have now. I wish I could, be like I was, get up, go to work, do all the things I used to do, be a strong mother. And I'm not like that anymore. I'm not the strong wife and the mother I always have been. And it's scary. And so that is my story. Being that it's been about a half an hour now, I'm going to cut this one short and, end it. And I'll tell you guys about my hair later on, in case I already have. Maybe I have. I don't know. But anyways, I want to thank you guys for coming on here. I hope you go below here and subscribe. Hit the little bell, and it will let you know once I have posted my videos. And yeah, so that's it. Peace out. Thank you guys for watching. Love you. Like my videos and come back tomorrow.